Testing 1 2. Sounding all good. Over to you, Wifeezas.
Welcome to our very first episode of After the Honeymoon podcast. I am Bongiwe and you are
Mangoba.
This podcast will deal with any and everything that has to do with couples that have experienced joining their lives together and how that looks like navigating the fantasy of love and the reality of love. So me and my partner here dated for 9 years and have been married now for almost 3 years.
Yes. Is it 9 years that we dated?
Yes.
I always ask myself, what's it? Okay, 9.
Let's stick to 9.
Okay.
And we have 2 kids under the age of 5. So
When does okay? Well, how do you get to these 9 years? When was it official? How does this thing
I know
work?
when it was official.
Oh, you know. Okay.
Yes, I know.
Because I don't know nothing. When is this shot?
Oh, you make it seem like I duped you into this thing.
Well, technically. I'm kidding, love.
So basically the title After the Honeymoon comes from, it's not like the literal honeymoon of going away on a honeymoon.
Yeah.
It's not only that, but it's also after the honeymoon phase in a relationship kind of fizzles, and how to navigate your relationship after that.
Yeah.
After the butterflies disappear.
Yeah.
So it's not just, I don't think it's just for married couples. It's also for long-term couples or people who are now cohabitating. And basically learning to like each other, because at some point love isn't enough in a relationship. You can love each other to death, but you have to like each other and learn to navigate the relationship around each other, especially when you live with each other, and then you also bring kids into the equation.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking, now that you are elaborating on it so much, as if one can work on the worst flaws of their partner, everything else would be a breeze.
Yeah,
you know, if I let's say for instance, there's something that I don't like about you, must as and when we are in a relationship and we're getting to know each other, if I can work around that, or I don't know how to explain it, it's almost like dealing with the difficult things.
Yes.
Because the easy things are easy.
Yes.
You can, if your partner is beautiful, obviously it should be to you, right?
Of course.
If your partner's got a nice walk,
or maybe his wallet is beautiful to me.
that's a story for another day, because those dynamics change.
Yes.
Right? But
yes.
Something as simple as, I'm speaking from a male perspective, a walk, right? The walk can be attractive for a man. That is something that won't necessarily change overnight, but it's easy. You don't have to. That's always going to be something that's pleasant for you, as a man. But if there's something else that you can, am I making sense?
I hear you.
If there's something else that is unpleasant for you, that you don't like per se about your partner, or is not attractive to you, if you can work on that, or however many of those things are, then everything else it's a breeze. We know it doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah, 100%.
It doesn't happen overnight. But after the honeymoon is such an amazing title. I want you, are you able to you came up with this title, and what was the thinking behind it? What sparked it? And what sparked you wanting us to put ourselves out there about talking about everything and anything after the honeymoon?
I think what sparked it more than anything is the fact that let me just firstly say that as much as I came up with the title, I still feel like I'm in the honeymoon. I still feel like I'm in the honeymoon phase with you. I still feel like I have butterflies when I look at you. The moment I turn around and walk out the door in the morning to go to work, I miss you, even though I saw you like 5 seconds ago. But more importantly, I think the title is important to me because of that. Because as much as we've been through so much, and we really have, we've experienced so many trials and tribulations, but it's amazing to me every day that as much as we've experienced so much together, a lot of positive, obviously, but also a lot of negative things, that I can still feel like the honeymoon phase is not over and that I still love you unconditionally, and I still wake up and choose you willfully, and so I just wanted...
Willfully?
Yes.
Now listen.
So, I just wanted, maybe if there's any kind of knowledge that we can impart on people from our own experiences. Obviously, everyone is in a different space. Every relationship is different, and I think people should just know that we're not trying to instill our own beliefs about certain relationships. We're just imparting knowledge based off of our experiences. And so I feel like if I can assist anyone out there, even if it's one person, on a certain perspective around a specific issue that we have experienced and still come out of it better, then I'd love to do that. Mm-hmm. Because I feel like even though we've had the roughest times sometimes, but I always come out of it feeling like our relationship is stronger and better for having experienced those things. And yeah, so that's where my desire for us to do this comes from. Yeah. And with that being said, our topic actually today is going to be about the importance of living together before you fully commit.
Yes, let's go there.
And learning to live in tandem with your partner.
Tandem.
And, in tandem. In unison.
Unison.
Well, I'm saying it now. So, yes. Let's get into that.
Where did that start?
Because we lived together before we got married.
Yes, we did. And, I remember bringing this up to you. Mm-hmm. And as I was explaining to you, you were very unpleased. You were very, very unpleased. And I couldn't understand, but I understood. But also, I was just like, what's up with this one? Mm-hmm. And I was coming from a point of, like the transitions in one's life. And I've always said, you move from being a toddler, is it a toddler, right? From toddler to just a child.
From infant to toddler.
Okay. I'm just looking at the different societal shifts.
Yes.
So from it's creche.
Yes.
Then you go to school, like primary school, and from primary school to high school. Mm-hmm. These are the shifts that I've always looked at from my perspective, from my life. Primary, you're going to high school, tertiary. This is you going more and more into the quote unquote real world.
Yes.
Right. And then the transition of moving out of home and being on your own, like living alone, whether you have a stipend or whether you're fending for yourself is besides the point. You are on your own, and that is a very important part of self-awareness and learning you as a person without any interruptions.
Yes.
And that's where I was coming from, Uguti. The importance of living alone is so crucial to self-understanding, because moving out of home into another home, there's hardly me time.
Yeah, but then I think we're going into now two different topics or discussions we had, because we had the discussion where you suggested I go live alone.
Yes.
Then we had the discussion where you suggested we live together before marriage.
Yes.
So I didn't have an issue with you bringing up me, going and living alone for some time.
You had the issue with...
I had the issue with us cohabitating before marriage, and not because I had an issue with living with you per se. It's what I knew.
Yes.
Culturally,
Yes.
it's as Black people in South Africa and probably in many other places around the world as well. It's what we know. It's what you do. You don't go and live with a man before you are married. You don't fat and set, basically. You know, it's almost shunned upon.
Yeah.
So it was tricky. And remember, yes, and you were suggesting it.
That we gotta live together before we get married.
Yes.
So that to see and understand one another's, is it dynamics?
Yes. Like
understanding. Can I put up with this forever?
You understand. And remember, from a female's perspective as well, remember when you brought up that conversation, I was pregnant. I was, early in my pregnancy. And I was pregnant during 2020. So it so happened that because I had a pregnancy scare and we were going into lockdown, it just so happened that it ended up being a good idea for us to then live together anyways during that time, because it would have been...
Stars aligned.
Yes, the stars ended up aligning in a way, because we ended up living together anyways, because I was having a medium to high risk pregnancy, and at the time it was just me and my mom at home, and my young sister. And I just felt like, obviously, if an emergency happened and I needed to go to the hospitals, I needed someone to really be there to help me, I wouldn't be able to get the help I needed at home. And so that's also how I kind of brought it up to my mom that, hey, look, this is the situation. I'm pregnant and it's a bit of a medium to high risk pregnancy. So it just makes sense for me that while we are locked down, that I'm rather with him, because he will be better equipped to help me if anything happens, or if I need assistance, or to be rushed to the hospital or whatever, because my mom had stopped driving at that point as well, because she was also ill. So the stars aligned, essentially. Lucky for you.
Yeah, lucky for me. I had myself asked throughout the whole of lockdown, right here. I think I'm trying to remember. You have the better memory, but the conversation basically for me was coming from the point of I think I'm better now, but I was very pedantic.
Yes.
About
yes.
Where things are.
Yes.
where things are placed. Why is this lying here?
Yes.
All that type of stuff. And now we've never lived together. This is now an example. You've never lived with someone, and then you get married, and then you start living with them day one in your marriage, and this person is obviously not going to be fitting your description of habitating, right? To the core. Did I say it right? Habitating. Cohabitating.
Yes. Yes.
Because we're not the same people.
100%.
You know, as Fani, we grew up in different households. We have different, we view things differently. You know, for you, it's not a big deal that there's a piece of paper on the counter. For me, it's like the end of the world. You know, why is the paper there? Why Why is it there? You know, so those minuscule, quote unquote, minuscule things end up really causing a rift.
100%.
Like, because they grow and they grow and they grow. Because I mean, you don't attend to them, and you don't fully understand them, and you want things in a certain way. And we're also not mentioning the importance of let's say no to
yes.
You know,
yeah,
which
so
house?
Whose house
Yeah,
do
so
you go to? Yeah.
Now you're happy at your place. Now I'm happy at my place, and then I'm the man, and I don't want to move into the woman's house. Yeah. Anyway, that wasn't our situation. But how did you feel? Now you've moved in with me, and there's this pedantic partner, and there's these rules that, you know, I live by. And how was that? How was that shift for you? Like,
I'm grinding my teeth as you're asking me the question, because I can just take myself back. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I know, it was hard. It was hard for me. And I don't know if it was worse because I was pregnant, so I was hormonal and emotional and everything. But, oh my gosh, it was hard for me. Because, like you said, you are very pedantic. So I found myself in a situation where it was like, I love this man and I do want to be with him. Like, I love the fact that now I get to see him every day and every night. But I felt like...
How fortunate.
Oh, wow. So I felt like I'm now in his space. I was in your house. I'm in your space. This man is pedantic. He's looking at everything I'm doing. That's how I felt. Like, I felt at some point, and I think we probably had the conversation a few times, I think, during that time. That because it was like a span of like a year or so that we were living, just under a year that we were living together. And I felt like I was being nitpicked every time. And I felt like I also couldn't really say anything because I'm not in my house. I'm not in my home. It's your home. So it almost felt like I didn't have a say. Even if I felt like you were being nitpicky, I can't really say anything. And not because that is how it really was, but that is how I felt about it. And it took a lot. I think we had, like I said, we had a few conversations about it over that period of time. Sometimes it got like a little heated, and not heated in terms of like us scratching each other and raising each other's voices, because we don't ever do that.
Yeah.
But it was quite an emotional time every time we had those conversations. So I think at the end of the day, just to go off a little bit, it is important to find a place that's mutual for both of you guys to feel comfortable. So if there is that option to do that, rather look at that option than looking at going to a specific person's place.
Do you feel that those conversations, as uncomfortable as they were contributed to better understanding and
Oh yes.
like us just understanding maybe the how much the action affects the next person.
Yeah, 100%. And I think more than anything, it taught, I think, both of us that what people always say is important in relationship. It taught us compromise.
Yes.
Because I realized that, yes, I feel like I'm an adult and don't tell me what to do and don't tell me not to leave my shoes there and don't tell me to take my cup to the kitchen and all this
and
stuff.
The shoes.
Stop.
Till this day.
I'm still trying
Listeners,
to not
till
leave.
This day.
Stop. I'm still trying to learn to take my shoes with me when I go. But yes, and I think even then, like I'm learning that he doesn't appreciate this, so let me try not do it. Even if I feel like it's not a big deal. But I think understanding that my partner feels like it's a big deal. And so if I don't take his feelings into account, then I'm not being a very great partner. You know,
Yes.
It's not...
Like me and farting.
Yeah, no, like... I'm as much as you still dealing with the shoes, I'm still dealing with that.
Baby.
Yes. There's definitely times where you still sneak one in there. Yes. And I hate it.
Oh.
But yeah, it taught us compromise on both sides, because I think you definitely calm down with the OCD stuff. You are not as pedantic, you are not as anal about things, which is great.
Yeah, I think I want to elaborate on that. Right? You have... This is an appreciation phrase. Or rather, acknowledgement of what you taught me in that, and it was a self-realization, because I remember the one time you had said to me, because every time I'd come back from like work, and the first thing I'd do when I walk in the house is like, why is this here? Why is this? Why is this? Why is this? You know? And you made me realize that, do you really want to be? And this is very important. It's a very pivotal. It's a very important part of self-realization for me in being a father, a parent. You said to me, love, do you really want to be the parent that when you come home it's unpleasant? Or, you know, everyone is like, people are not comfortable, and etc, etc, etc. And then when you walk in, it's like, you know,
Everyone's
almost
on
like
edge.
everyone's on edge, waiting for the inspection. It's okay, you guys have passed.
Yes.
And then now we can all embrace you. And for me, it was like, wow, I remember feeling like that, you know, as a young kid. And over time, it led to, I don't want to be here. And then over time, it leads to, I want to move out as soon as possible. You know, and.
Yes.
You know, so it just creates, it starts somewhere. And then it creates a wedge, like
Yes.
the crack becomes
Wider and wider over time, yeah.
You know, and I had to sit and go, oh wow, you know. Not to say that I'm not going to discipline my kids. You know, at the end of the day, there's not going to be free will, because they don't. Kids unfortunately don't understand or can't manage.
Yeah, they need management.
Yes. But that for me was like, then now I'm coming home and the house is a mess, and you know, I'm not bothered by the house being a mess. I'm just happy that I've opened the door and our son's running towards me, and and our daughter is.
Just to be clear, I'm not messy.
No, yes, I'm just. That was an example. That was an example. You know, if I walk in the house and it's a mess, I'll deal with the reception, the love first. You know, hey baby, you know, hug the kids, and you know, just simmer into the home, because remember, I'm coming from outside. It's homely here. Like inside, it's homely. It's whether it's a mess or not, it's home.
Yes.
So everyone is feeling comfortable and happy, and the energy is in sync. You feel me?
And to elaborate on that, you are actually part and parcel of making it a home, because we are not on edge now expecting you to come home. Because I guarantee you the energy when you walk in the door would be completely different if we're all on edge.
See, so shout outs for that. I appreciate you for that.
Yeah,
You know?
I also want to appreciate that you no longer leave the toilet seat up.
Yeah, I had to work on that. But you see, these are the things, like, these are the reasons of living alone. I mean, living together prior to like full on quote unquote commitment of marriage. I mean, our transition was very smooth.
Yeah,
I really don't know what the difference
there wasn't.
You know, in terms of our relationship, you know, I think the biggest difference was like the full-on merger of finances, etc. But this was something we spoke about pre.
Yes.
You know, like, okay, cool, this and this and this and this and this and this, and addressing the fact that, you know, there is money, there are bills that need to be paid.
And you know, we had, like you said, we had already budgeted really, and kind of had an idea of what we were getting ourselves into.
Yes.
And I think it's like, I want the understanding of why for us it was important, and I think made a big difference in living with each other before getting married, is that I think there's almost like a pressure. You feel like you're in an instant pot once you are married, and then you all of a sudden plunged into living with each other when you've never been around each other 24/7. And because now there's the pressure of, okay, now we almost like stuck together, quote unquote, we now have to try and force this thing to work. And you realizing that I actually don't like how this person behaves. I don't like the fact that they leave the toilet seat up. I don't like that they leave their shoes all over the place. I don't like that they snore. Whatever it is, I feel like had we not lived together before getting married, it would have created a feeling of pressure, and it might have escalated a lot of situations far more than they should have been escalated.
Yes.
Because I think we would have felt almost stuck. Because I think in the back of my mind, I always, don't think it's not that I thought of leaving you per se, but
okay.
There was always,
those thoughts come.
Yeah, there was always like the thought at the back of my mind, like, this is hard, and I want to work through it, but I know that there's still an option of walking away if I need to, you know, or if I want to. And you as well, I'm sure you also had thoughts at times when it was really, really hard, where you felt like, this is hard.
Yes.
And there's days where you probably just wanted to walk out the door and not come back for a few hours, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
But it was a lot easier to deal with, I think, personally, because it wasn't a pressure cake. You know, you didn't feel like I'm stuck here, and that even if I want to leave now, I can't, or now it's going to be a whole schlep or issue to now leave because we are now married and I'm stuck with this person. You know, there's an option to walk away if you need to, when you get to know each other truly and properly, when you live with each other. And it's crazy because, like I said, we dated for like 9 years before we got married. And still, those months that we lived together made me see you in a whole new different light.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I thought I knew you, and I knew literally like a fraction of who you were.
Yeah, because we have we almost have like a subconscious front.
Yes, we see each other. We going on a date. Yes,
you know, you go on a date, or you
go on
come
a date.
over
You
for
come
the
over
weekend,
for the weekend,
and you like at the end of the day you're gonna leave.
Yeah,
and
then I can go back to being myself, and I can go back to pooping after holding my poop for the whole weekend.
Yeah, it did take you a while.
It took me a while.
And then Lorna, he's literally full of doo-doos. I was like, what?
I would literally wait till I got home to poop.
That time I'm letting it rip the whole weekend. Me, I'm like,
And I didn't have a choice. Once we lived together, I didn't have a choice.
Like,
and even then, I would almost like kind of wait for you to leave the house or send you on an errand so that you'd go out so that I would poop quickly.
And then I come home and I'm like, whoa, what happened?
Why did the atmosphere change? The ambience is different. Why is it toxic? Oh my God.
I'm breathing in a different air.
Okay, stop.
Okay. Wake up at 2 in the morning.
Yes, I would literally wake up at 2 a.m. Oh my God, wow.
You thought I didn't see you, huh?
Oh gosh, no.
So these are all the, like, just think about, I actually ever ask, if you had the option to, it might be difficult for you to answer now, but if you had that option pre-marriage to, you had your own place, a place that you could go to retreat, do you think it would be different? Like, we would be in a different space. I think so, personally, but I want to hear
in a
from
different
you.
space, negatively or positively?
In any which way. Like, if you've got home, you've got your partner's place, you got your own place. If you had, this is your retreat, how different do you think?
I think things would have been different, especially the first part of us living together, because I think I was kind of almost forced to withstand whatever that was happening, even if there were times where I felt like I need a break. I need to go and feel comfortable in my own space, because there were moments where I just felt uncomfortable. And I'll reiterate, it's not because you were intentionally making me feel uncomfortable, or you intentionally doing something to me that was like not nice, but there's just times where you just want to poop in peace.
Yeah.
You know, there were times you just want to do your own thing. And you know, like, for instance, I just want to get up and, I don't know, make a sandwich for myself without having to make a sandwich for you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like making 2 sandwiches. I feel like making 1 sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
So now it was like, I have to, like, do things in a way that I wouldn't say not necessarily not comfortable with, but in a way that it's like, I wouldn't be doing it like this if I was by myself. But now, because I'm with this person, I have to do it this way, and it's just taking a lot out of me at that time. You know, there were times where maybe you're just not feeling okay mentally, emotionally, and you just want to sleep on the bed and close your curtains the whole day and just watch movies the whole day, and you're concerned about whether your partner's gonna think you're like a lazy bum or something. And so now you force yourself to get out of bed and you really don't want to, so you're almost forced to conform in a way. But I can say for me personally, that was actually a good thing, because I'll say if you are a self-aware person, being in a relationship and living with someone else will help to heal parts of you that need to be healed. The toxic parts of you, it will accentuate the good parts of you. So there were habits that I had or things that I did internally maybe that were not healthy, that I needed to work on and still do. And so being with another person has helping me to come into my truth, because I'm learning that I have to put down this facade as well of trying to put up for you, or, put up this front of this is the type of person that I am, or, I'm learning that I need to be okay with being myself, and that you also need to know who I am in my truth. And so those times was forcing me to live in my truth, and still am. I'm still learning how to live in my truth when I'm with you, or even with my kids. So yes, it would have changed how I felt if I had my own place. Maybe I think it would have changed for the negative personally, because it would have been too easy for me to just run away.
Okay.
And I don't think it would have solved anything for me. It wouldn't have solved me needing to really be self-aware and deal with these feelings and deal with these habits of mine that are not healthy. So it would have been easy for me to just run away and say, oh no, I don't want to deal with him right now. He's being too pedantic, let me go away. And it might have actually led to us drifting apart more and more.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I don't think we'd actually even be here today if I had my own place. It would have been easier for me, because it would have been a comfort zone to go into my little shell and cower away and just be like, no, I don't want to deal with this.
Yeah. That's I didn't see it in that way.
Yeah, and I think this is what I think, and I think maybe you haven't this whole time really got what I was trying to say to you when you did mention to me that I should go and maybe live alone for some time. And I think also I haven't been able to articulate it well, because I hadn't done the work enough internally to understand why it's not a good idea for me to go and live alone. But now, after doing some internal work, I'm understanding why deep within me, I knew it wasn't a good idea. Because I felt that it's going to be too easy for me to run away from dealing with issues.
And probably self-implode?
Yes. It would have been too easy for me to get away and escape. And not have to deal with really facing some of my bad habits if I had my own place. And I think at that time, that's what I was trying to get to you when you did mention, is that I hear what you're saying, and it's great for many people to go and live by themselves and be by themselves for some time. But I knew that for me, it wasn't a good idea. It wasn't going to help me. It wasn't going to help us.
That's very interesting. Now, I'm just thinking about, the freedom, like having the quote-unquote freedom of going to your own shell.
Yes,
but also,
and the freedom is the problem.
Yeah, you also got to be ready. You got to be able to deal with you.
Yes.
Because, when there's no dealing or accountability, or you gotta face, then it just builds up and builds up and builds up to a point of being unbearable.
Yeah. And I think also this might be what even led to our deciding that we wouldn't go to sleep angry at each other, or not having discussed whatever it is we got into an argument.
I remember you waking me up at 2 in the morning.
Yes, because
this woman crazy. But the tension was so...
It was thick.
It
was thick. And can I tell you, if I had my own place,
you would have left.
Best believe I would have left.
Yeah, because
there was no way I was going to sleep.
You have that option.
Yes, there was no way I was going to sleep next to you feeling that tension. I was going to go sleep in my own place. And would we have properly resolved that issue?
Was I really sleeping?
I don't know, but you were snoring. And I was looking at this dude is sleeping as if he doesn't feel the tension in this room. How do you guys sleep?
Males have superpower.
I don't understand you guys. How do you sleep after having a heated disagreement and you just roll over and sleep?
Night.
I looked at you, I think, for a good hour. I'm like, this nigga's sleeping.
Were you thinking of smashing my head in?
No. No. But I think the more I looked at you sleeping, the angrier I got. Because I'm like, why is he sleeping right now? And knowing that I couldn't necessarily go anywhere else, like I'm here right now. I'm here, and in this moment I'm forced to deal with this tension right now, and so I can't ignore it. But like I said, had I had my own place, I would have left in a second.
Yes. So that freedom might be, is it blocking or harboring? Those are two different words, no? That freedom specifically for anyone could be blocking a lot of potential healthy households.
100%.
Right, because obviously now you are saying, screw this, I don't want to deal with this. I don't have to deal with this, so I'm retreating.
Yes.
And I do not have to talk about it.
Yeah.
I do not have to deal with it. As soon as I feel uncomfortable, I'm out.
Yeah.
And this is do you think this is a mentality that a lot of relationships that have challenges and have the freedom go through?
I think
even
so.
Even if you guys are sharing a place and there's no other option to go anywhere else, but you could still retreat to yourself.
Yes.
Because we generally are scared of uneasy conversations and truthful conversations, and really, like, in retrospect of looking into ourselves and going, damn, mele manje ngiyophendulela ukuthi ngithethile.
Yeah.
Like kukwami la.
Yeah.
So why mele ngiyophendulela ukuthi I asked for the shoes to be moved.
Yeah.
Manje sekafila ngenye indlela mara kanjani?
Yes.
You know,
but this is why I said you have to be willing to be self-aware when you're in a relationship, because it can actually be positive. But if you're not willing to look within yourself and be self-aware, it can be very toxic.
Yes, very.
It can be extremely, extremely toxic. And the problem that I see more than anything is that partners see each other as enemies sometimes, or we competing.
Give me an example for me to fully understand with us of what you're saying.
Like, oh my gosh, there's so many, there's a lot, but then when you have to think of one, you don't. Okay, let's make the one that the example you just made now about the shoes. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. What were we saying?
You're saying partners see each other as enemies.
Oh,
sometimes.
yes. So the shoe thing. Like what you were saying right now, of now why do I have to be sorry for saying addressing that I don't like these shoes here, or can you move the shoes or whatever. In that moment you can easily be like, well, I said what I said. I don't like the shoes here, and I said it, and I actually don't care what you feel about it. All of a sudden we're competing about whose voice is more important than the other.
So that's what you mean by now we're in quote unquote enemy.
Yeah, we're in enemy mode. We're at war now, because I have my portion where I'm just like, I'm also an adult. I don't want to be told that every 2 seconds that my shoes must be moved here, or you being passive aggressive and you bringing me my shoes and saying, here's your shoes.
That sounds like me.
Yeah, because it is. I don't want to. I'm also
Are
like.
you still gonna use these?
Yes. Thank you. I'm glad you see yourself. Yes.
Is this bag going to be unpacked now?
That is you to a T.
Man.
And at that moment I'm like, I can tell you being passive aggressive. So I'm like, instead of trying to address it, in an unemotional way, automatically I'm emotional and I'm now defensive because you came at me passive aggressively. I'm getting defensive, and now
neutralizing.
Yes, no one's neutralizing, because we're not seeing that. Look, we're trying to work at the same goal. Our goal is to live harmoniously together. And all of a sudden the actual goal of what this whole situation is about goes out the window, and now you're thinking about yourself and I'm thinking about myself.
Yeah.
So in every argument or disagreement, it's so important to realize that you guys are not fighting each other, you are fighting an issue. There is an issue at hand, or some kind of situation at hand that you both need to tackle, and let's see how we can both tackle it the best way for both of us. We're not fighting against each other. We are fighting the issue. Yeah.
No. Whew. Yeah, there's a lot to unpack. It's
we could talk the whole day.
There's a lot to unpack, but obviously, just for the sake of keeping our listeners with us, let's round it off. And just in closing, on the main topic being the living together. Pre-marriage.
Yeah, pre-marriage or
unionship.
Unionship, yes.
Right. So the crux of it here is, without beating around the bush, is that you shouldn't leave options, basically, so that you are fully in.
Yes.
You are fully invested in the growth of this union. And we wouldn't fully be trusting our partner. Like, I wouldn't be fully trusting you if there were options.
Yeah.
For me alone.
Yeah.
The options should be our options.
Yes.
You feel me? We should be in it together, because we made a pact and a vow, and even pre getting married, we made a pact to one another, and we brought kids, automatically that's a lifelong pact.
Yeah.
And I feel it's so important what you were saying when I was listening to you talking about the option. We probably would have been co-parenting.
Yeah.
And we don't know if it would be going well or not.
Yeah.
Because you'd be sitting in your corner and going, well, I got my own place. I can fend for myself. I don't need you.
Yep.
You know, and vice versa. I'd be saying the same thing, but now we have the kids in the middle, and you know, and it's been beautiful to watch how we've, you know, tackled and taken the bull by the horns. I think in the following episode, I would like us to discuss the importance of individualism.
Yes.
Because if you cannot be an individual, there's going to be a lot of sinking. You know, there's going to be a lot of sinking. I'm just thinking about it. All the decisions that you have had to make as an individual for you.
Yes.
And vice versa.
Yes.
And then combining the two individuals.
Yes.
Together, the turmoil.
Yeah, that can be our next episode, definitely. That's a whole new can of worms.
Yes, yes, it is.
It's a whole new can of worms.
Yes, it is. In closing?
In closing, yeah, I think just like you said, I share the same sentiments, I think, and it's helped us to grow. More than anything, it's been one of our blessings to be almost kind of stuck together and living together and saying, hey, let's run this through and see, like, what's those rehearsal dinners that they have before a wedding.
Yeah.
You know, living together was like a rehearsal dinner, a prolonged rehearsal dinner, and it was very much needed, I think, especially because a part of me being almost shocked when you brought up the living together was that I think I had a little bit of commitment issues, and so it was scary for me to live with the thought of living with someone. So yeah, it really helped us. It helped me grow, and I'm still growing. So I'm very grateful for it, because I don't think we'd be here, my love, if it weren't for that.
Yeah. Before we forget, you know, hopefully people reached to this point of the podcast. But it is our first, and we can only learn and grow as we go. Please like and subscribe to
the podcast.
I forgot the name now.
After the honeymoon.
All right, cheers. Peace out.
Thanks. Bye.